everyone. Welcome back to my channel where we explore fascinating stories from across the world. Today, we'll be delving into one of the greatest epics of all time, the Mahabharata. Mahabharata is a major Hindu mythological Sanskrit epic. It is the longest and greatest literary piece that was ever created by mankind. This great epic narrates the great war between the Kauravas and Pandavas. The Kurukshetra War is depicted in the epic as a historical battle between the two groups of cousins and is considered as one of the most brutal battles ever fought. Sage Vyasa is known for writing this epic. The Pandavas Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, and Sahadev, the five brothers, and the Kauravas are the main characters in the Mahabharata. It's almost like a family feud over land and property. Pandu, the king of Hastinapur, chose to live in the forest with his two wives, Kunti and Madri, and his 5 sons. Therefore he gave up his throne to his brother Dhritarashtra, who was blind, and went to live in the forest. In the kingdom of Hastinapur, Dhritarashtra's wife, Gandhari, gave birth to 100 sons. Duryodhana was the eldest of them. Bhishma was the stepbrother of Vyasa, the grandfather of both the Pandavas and the Kauravas. He was a prominent statesman of the Kuru kingdom. Bhishma asked Dronacharya to teach the skills of warfare to both Kauravas and Pandavas when Pandavas returned to Hastinapura after the death of Pandu and Madri. Kauravas were very jealous of Pandavas and always plotted to harm them. After one such failed attempt, Pandavas went into exile and reached the kingdom of Panchal. The king of Panchal had a beautiful daughter named Draupadi, and an archery competition was in works to choose the rightful husband for her. Arjuna, who was an unrivaled archer, entered the competition and won. Arjuna married Draupadi. When they all came back to Hastinapur, Dhritarashtra gave the Pandavas a small piece of barren land, far away from Hastinapur. The Pandavas built a beautiful city there named Indraprastha on it. Soon again, Duryodhana along with his evil uncle Shakuni started plotting and invited Yudhishthira to play a dice game with the Kauravas. Yudhishthira not only lost his kingdom and wealth in this game but also his brothers and wife. After the game, when Draupadi was humiliated in the open palace, Dhritarashtra out of fear and consequences returned everything to the Pandavas. But the game did not stop there. In the next round, when the Pandavas lost again, they had to go on an exile for 12 years and had to spend another year in disguise. So Pandavas left the kingdom. But Yudhishthira was concerned how we will be able to feed everyone since he had lost all his wealth. One of the sages approached him and urged him to pray to Lord Surya, the sun god, while he was profoundly frightened and disturbed. Yudhishthira did that with all his devotion and sincerity. The sun god, pleased with his prayers, bestowed upon him the Akshaya Patra, which was a mystical bowl. This Patra, according to Hindu mythology, was a magical jar that will provide an endless supply of food until Draupadi had eaten for the day. Once, the Pandavas were visited by sage Markandeya, who told them tale of Lord Rama, Lord Vishnu's 7th avatar. Yudhishthira's heart and mind calmed after hearing the story, and he was filled with bravery. While Yudhishthira was fascinated by the stories, Draupadi and Bhima never failed to feed Yudhishthira's mind with vengeance against the Kauravas. But he kept his cool and told Draupadi and Bhima to wait for the appropriate moment because defeating the Kauravas in a fight without superpowers and divine weapons would be difficult. And it was Arjuna who was tasked by the Pandavas to collect these powers. During their exile, the Pandavas faced many challenges, but they also learned many important lessons. When they returned from their exile, Duryodhana refuses to give them back their kingdom, and a great war ensues. Kurukshetra War. The armies of Pandavas and Kauravas reached Kurukshetra. Pandavas had 7 Akshohini of army while the Kauravas had 11 Akshohini. The armies spent a few days in preparing their camps. And finally the great war begins at Kurukshetra. On the first day, Arjuna is emotionally weakened, looking the list of relatives assembled on the enemy side, and expresses his hesitation in fighting elders whom he loves and respects. Krishna reminds Arjuna of his duty and has a philosophical conversation, at the end of which Arjuna becomes determined to just fight it like any other war. Their dialogue is popular as Gita, which in its today's form evolved over a period of years, where the scholars and philosophers of ancient India probably added in their contributions to make it one of the best philosophical works in the world. It is admired by almost everyone who comes across this work. With Lord Krishna's help, Pandavas defeated Kauravas at the end of the 18-day Kurukshetra War, and Yudhishthira was crowned king. But this success came at a huge expense of the life of their mentors, teachers, and loved ones. Arjuna, with the help of Shikhandi, pierced Bhishma, grandfather, with numerous arrows and paralyzed him upon a bed of arrows during the war. After spending 51 nights on the arrow bed, Bhishma left his body. The Pandavas ruled for 36 years, after which they abdicated in favor of Abhimanyu's son, Parikshit. The Pandavas and Draupadi proceeded on foot to the Himalayas, intending to live out their last days climbing the slopes heavenwards. One by one, they fell on this last journey and their spirits ascended to the heavens. Legacy. The Mahabharata remains popular to this day in India. It has been adapted and recast in contemporary mode in several films and plays. Children continue to be named after the characters in the epic. Beyond India, the Mahabharata story is popular in Southeast Asia and cultures that were influenced by Hinduism, such as Indonesia and Malaysia. The Mahabharata is a story that's filled with many valuable lessons and insights. It teaches us about the importance of family, loyalty, and righteousness. It's a story that has been told and retold for thousands of years, and it still continues to inspire and captivate people all over the world. That's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed learning about the Mahabharata as much as I did. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more interesting stories. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.